I'd like you guys to introduce yourself in one sentence. Just one thing that I didn't say in your bio that you want the audience to know.
Okay, should I start? Because I
Yes.
already even now started safe, so Hi everyone, my name is Seun Olagunju-Lana. I work with young people across different countries in sub-Saharan Africa. She already mentioned in my bio that I work with the Development School Africa. But basically my work is to harness this growing population of African youth, equipping them with the education for sustainable development so that they begin to address global challenges within their own communities.
Inspiring. As they speak, applaud them. It's not easy to be here on a Saturday afternoon when it's raining. So please appreciate them.
Oh yeah, see I should add it that I'm also married, so yeah, that's part of the profile.
Oh, okay, she's married. So if you are thinking that you wanted to shoot your shot with my panelists, hey, no way. So thank you so much, guys, for being here. I'm really excited about the conversations that we're going to be having. So, Seun, with the work that you're doing with the development school, right? How have you seen young people really leading the SDG agenda, and what are the challenges that you can say you've seen so far among these young people?
Very great. So, how many of us in this room can first attest to the fact that this Africa that we are, there are a lot of problems here. There are a lot of problems, right? So like I said earlier when I was introducing myself, I've worked with so many young people, right? But my work with young people didn't actually start with the development school. It predates that to when I started working with Peace First. Peace First is an international nonprofit in the US, and I was working with Peace First as the regional manager for Sub-Saharan Africa, and I got on this role at the age of 24. So this was me thinking...
Can you be nice and just applaud?
Thank you. So, but that's not where I'm going with the story. So this was me thinking, 24, because of the climate we are, which is Africa, regional manager sounds like a very big job role, right? So I was coming, I was like, oh my God, I'm young, maybe the youngest person when I meet my colleagues and all of that. And then I got to the first all-staff meeting, and they were introducing me to the other regional managers, and I met this girl, Lola. She was one that was leading the UK and European region as regional manager. She was just 19. And in my head, I'm like, 24, I'm actually very old. I'm not as young as I think I am. And that was the colleagues I was working with. What my work was focused on was to recruit young people. And Peace First had imagined 13 to 25. Young people come with just an idea. You don't need to have your social project all complete. All you needed was an idea that I would like to solve this problem. And then we will coach you, we'll mentor you, and we'll give you funding. So that was where the disbursing 43,000 came from, because in the 2 years I worked with them, I actually disbursed that much. So when I joined this work, Sub-Saharan Africa was recently established as a region. The organization was focused on the US before. And in like a space of how many years, the number of young people that would come from Sub-Saharan Africa to say, I have an idea, just give me the funding. No other person believes in our work. Just give me the funding. No other person believes in my work. It was so much that the organization decided we can't use one regional manager to handle all these people. We needed two of them. That was how large we grew in numbers. So the question is not if to start coercing young people to do this work and start working in something. They are already very, very interested. And the reason why I started the development school was because I saw that in addition to the desire, there was also a lack of education that we did not have, and that was why I started the development school. Now, to why it is necessary that we have more young people driving the SDGs. Africa has a lot of problems. If I start to count the problems, we'll probably not live here. If I had to present slides, I'd have probably shown you these problems, which I'm sure if I tell you to write in your notes, you'd also write. From poverty to hunger, so many issues. Now, these world leaders came together and said, let us create a set of goals to address these problems, not just in Africa, but around the world, right? That was where the SDGs came from. Now, the SDGs were created in 2015, are supposed to be achieved by 2030. We're currently in 2023, which leaves us with how many years? How many years? So we have 7 years. And I'm sure if I ask you, are there still homeless people that can't afford food, that can't afford a place to sleep? What will you tell me? Are the state of our hospitals in very good state right now? Our curriculum, educational curriculum, are they relevant compared to the rest of the West? So we're still very far behind. Now, in addition to that, this could be a blessing. We have this growing population of young people. Africa right now is one of the youngest continents in the world. Our population of young people over 60%. So I think that world leaders are beginning to recognize that if we're going to really achieve this thing, we need to bring young people, not just as young people like you are the leaders of tomorrow anymore. That tomorrow has come now. So it's almost like, how can we begin to equip them and invest in them? And if you look at the UN, they recently established the UN Youth Office that is driven by a young person. The current UN Youth Envoy, who is leaving her position now, Jack Ma, she is 32. She has spent 6 years on that role, meaning that she took on that role working with the Secretary General of the United Nations at 20-something. So they are creating opportunities for young people to come and lead the work. But that opportunity is only going to meet the person that is already working. So if you are here and you have this idea, but you're not doing the work, when the opportunity comes and doesn't meet you prepared, doesn't meet you with the work, you're not going to be able to access those kinds of opportunities, right? So that's what I'm going to say about why young people need to start doing the work and getting more involved in the SDGs.
Yes, Seun. I mean, that was very, very insightful. Thank you so much, Seun. This is probably going to be the last question. The lady in green can come back on stage, and then we can go back and listen to her. Right. So, Seun, you've received a lot of accolades, right, around the world with the amazing work you're doing. And I want to ask you these two questions. Number one is, working with young people, what can you say is like the unique strength that they bring to the table? And what are the challenges that they face in bringing this uniqueness to life, right? And then lastly, right, what are the solutions that you think we can start driving collectively to ensure that more young people have access to the knowledge to help them strive in the development space? Yep.
Thank you, Balkis, for that question. So I'm looking at the room, and majority of the people here are actually young people. So the answers that I'm going to share to these questions will be tailored to this particular audience, right? The first question that you asked was, could you remind?
Yeah, so you've received a lot of accolades, right? So what are the strengths that you have seen, like unique strength that young people bring to the table?
I remember now. So one of the things that I thought about, and this was just in a place of personal introspection, was, sometimes when you tell your parents, I don't know if it's just Michelle, but most of us here, when we talk to our parents about problems, especially affecting the country, you realize that their attitude towards it is more like this very relaxed thing, like, we've tried it in our own time, like more like this is now your own time. Do you notice? So there'll come a time that we too will get to. I mean, what we will do now will determine what will happen then. But there will come a time too that we'll look at our children, and we'll look at our children's children, that is now your own time. So basically, there is really no other person's time right now to start solving these issues but us. So one of the things that young people bring to that table is this daunting belief that I can change this thing. Like, you find that people that have gone ahead of us, they've already given up, like, well, but wait, we believe that we can actually do this. And the fact that you have people and you can bring people together who believe a thing, like, that thing in itself is powerful, right? The fact that they can even be crazy enough to think this problem, there's nothing that can be solved, it's actually very powerful. So you have young people who actually believe that they can do this thing. I think that belief is something that we should leverage on. Now, in terms of problems, I'll just answer that problem together with the last question, which is, my work didn't start like this. I'd actually gone through Obafemi Awolowo University and I studied English language, right? And English language, there was nothing like development. In fact, the closest course to what I studied was maybe social linguistics, and that was my favorite course. Because I was like, oh, society and language, there's something that links together, etc. And then I went through school and came out of school. I was a very shy girl. I was a very timid girl. I used to stand before people like that and talk. If you give me a mic, my hands will be shaking. Like, I will run away, you won't see me. It took this level of seeing something and saying, but this is who I am. I know that I'm supposed to be in a room with government and world leaders and contributing my voice. How long will I keep running away from all these responsibilities, right? And so one of those days, I decided to visit an orphanage, and this is to answer that question of where can we start from as young people, and also what problem. It always starts with a problem, not your age, not your qualifications, not where you think you are right now, but a problem that just tugs at your heart, that can't help you sleep. And it doesn't have to be a problem that affects you directly. It can be something else that affects somebody else, right? I went to that orphanage. I saw that they didn't have rooms with doors. And I looked at where I was coming from, my own house. We had doors. I didn't have to worry about what to eat. And it just took a small effort of galvanizing people together. with the little money I had in my account to say, let's go and do these doors. But then I said, whatever this is what I want to continue as my career path. And that was where I found development from. So it always starts with a problem. Let us leave this room with that mindset of, I'll look outside of my own life and I'll begin to observe the problems that are around me. What problems are affecting other people, right? It always starts from there. That's one. Then the second thing is to expand our images. There's this analogy that I like to use, which is the analogy of, I drive a Toyota Camry. Most of us know what a Toyota Camry is, right? So if I come here now, and everything we've ever heard in our life is Camry, Camry, Toyota Camry, Toyota Camry. You know, the day somebody comes and says, I parked my Lamborghini outside, a yellow Lambo. You know, if you've never seen a Lambo before in your life, it will be very hard for you to picture what that Lambo is. Because all your life, what you've seen is Camry, Camry. You might not even know that the Lambo is a car, right? And so the solutions that we too can propose to a problem is very limited to what we know right now and what we can see. So you'll find that most people in sub-Saharan Africa, to be honest, I did a lot of projects when I was working with Peace First too. Most of them were summits, education conference. Let us bring people together and talk to them. And you look at our young counterparts, other mates in Western world, and the level of innovation that they bring to these problems, you're wondering, how come I didn't think about this thing? It's not because you can't think it, it's just because you don't know it yet. So you giving yourself that chance to just expand your mind beyond your immediate environment, to begin to see things outside of you through reading. It could even be a movie you're watching. It could be by traveling. Whatever it is that is accessible to you, start with what you have, start where you are, but ensure that you're not putting your mind in a box and thinking that all that you can do or solve is within what you can see right now.
Ooh! Is somebody inspired this afternoon? Is somebody inspired this afternoon? I'm inspired. I know, right?